should be recording all this, Shiza. You got a clothing company? How old are you? I thought you were 16.
I was 16. I'm 17 now. So I've had it for like 2 years now.
You what? 17?
The business. So,
oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
God, what made you do that?
I had
are you
a video.
Designer? You design, or you just, or you? You somebody else designs.
Raise awareness for like mental health and stuff. So that's my thing. So I got in contact with these YouTubers. They're called Yes Theory. I don't know if you heard of them.
No, I don't know anything about the internet.
Yeah. So because I have Asperger's, so I find it hard to speak. And
me too. It's all right. Yeah. We've all got Asperger's. Go
on. So I got in contact with Yes Theory, and I think one of them said, using that. So my brand is like fear is your strength. So it's like using that like anxiety and fear as like your superpower type thing. So it's like
yeah.
So he said that, and then I was like, hold up, I could turn that into something. And then it just sort of just built up from there, and they helped me like build it up to what it is now.
Great. And how's it going?
It's going pretty good actually. I have a lot of things going on.
Great.
School.
Well, you're very persistent. I do get asked to do a lot of podcasts, and I say no to every single one of them. I think it's just oh my God, he's not going to go away. He's not going to go away. I'm going to have to.
I'm sorry.
No, it's the life lesson for you. Keep at it.
I'm very,
and you kept at it in a very nice sort of way. You know, every time you asked, it wasn't exactly the same question. It was a different sort of way of asking. I thought, well, at least he's putting some imagination into the way he's asking. It's not just, I get some people that go, come on, have you got any time now? How about now? How about now? How about now? How about now? You know, you mixed it up a bit.
Yeah. This is it.
This is it.
This is it. Yeah, I used to watch you when I was little. Like this.
And I watched you, Luke. And no, that sounds weird. I wonder if that was ever like weird for the kids with us saying, you know, because we would give them the remote and we go, "Have you got it? Have you got it?"
Yeah.
I'm looking at you. How are you? Nice. And sometimes we'd say, you know, no, nice socks. Yeah. Like, I wonder if there was any kids that just got, but that's how it really worked with the kids with on the autism spectrum. How do you say that? Kids with
autism spectrum.
Kids with autism spectrum.
On the autism.
How do you say it? There's a on the or. Yep. I know I've said it before too, because we've got a lot of mothers with kids with autism that have loved the show. Like there should be a Facebook page devoted to autistic community and the Upside Down show. For some reason, they're inextricably linked to one another, and I think, I mean, personally, I think it's because the show was different from all the other shows. We're in that we talk directly to the kids, and also we didn't talk to them like they were kids. We just, as you should never talk to kids. The one thing, I've got two kids that were 21 and bloody 19 now, and I've never talked to them like they were kids. If there was ever anything, they've never whined. Because when they started whining, I said, I was told very early from so you can see that I've got AD. Do you see? I can't finish a bloody sentence. I was told before I had kids, I saw Shane Bourne. You won't know Shane Bourne, but he was an old comedian. He used to do a show called Hey It's Saturday. And I saw him with his kid, and he was reprimanding his child. He came down to his child's height to talk to her, and he just talked to her like I wouldn't even say like an adult, just like a human, not like a child. He came down to her and he went, "Honey, like blah, blah, blah." And he just had this conversation. I saw it from a distance and I asked him about it. And he said, yeah, I don't want her ever to think that I'm looking literally or metaphorically talking down to her.
Yeah.
So I did that from a very early age. I came down to my child, talked to them just as humans, not as children.
Yeah.
And it worked a treat. And also, they've never whined, because the first time they tried to whine, I came down to them and I said, listen, Ro, I honestly, you're going to understand this when you get older, and this is a true fact, there are tones that people over the age of 21 can't hear. As you get older, you can't, there are ringtones that you can put on your phone that only kids can hear. I don't know what you're doing right now. I can see that you're saying something, but when you do that tone, I can't hear you. So at the moment, I can't hear what you're saying. So could you just speak normally? And it worked a treat. So my kids never whined, because they always thought I couldn't hear that. We couldn't hear them, my love and I. So they would, if ever they had a problem, I would come down to them and we would just have a normal conversation. I think the show, Upside Down Show, we just talked to them.
Yeah.
It wasn't talk to them like they were children or something. It was just talking like they were humans. And I think they appreciated that. And the kids on the autism spectrum, like me, they liked the looking, the giving, the weirdness of the things weren't the way they see the world, which is not the same as not even going to say a normal person, a dog, is not, everybody sees the world differently, but they, have you ever read the dog and in the nighttime, the dog in the nighttime, the story of the dog? Hey, what was the name of that book about autism that you got me to read? Full stop. The Boy and the Dog in the Nighttime? Question mark. Where am I? They like, we weren't, nothing we did was the normal way of doing things. And I think that kids on the autism spectrum like to see that. That's not a normal way of doing things.
Yeah. I when I was in Adelaide, you guys were at the Fringe, and I wanted to go see you guys.
You didn't come and see us?
I forgot why I couldn't. There was a reason why, but when I was...
All right, we've got to end this interview right now.
Okay,
the book is called The Curious. You don't have to write this down. You're recording this. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. And it's a very short book, and it's a kind of a detective story, really. But the boy is autistic. And it gives you a brilliant insight into how autistic people think about everything. It's just magnificent. And so now there are so many autistic people in my life now. I go, you're autistic, and you're autistic. It's nearly everybody. Oh man, this new show is I'm sorry you missed out. It won Best Comedy. It was a nice way of coming back after not performing for 2 years.
I loved you guys so much.
It's we got it's called The Distraction, and it's exactly what I've been doing. It's from people just being distracted, with screens. And so we're bringing an audience to a live theatre show. But there's two guys performing live for them, right live. They're right there. But you won't be able to watch those two guys, because right above them, you'll be distracted by this enormous screen that has those two guys up there. It's the same guys, but up there, there's a background and a foreground, there's special effects, there's everything. It's much shinier. It's much more interesting to watch the screen than to watch the live, the people on stage. It's really, really special. I wish you would have seen it. I mean, but we'll be back. We're coming back next year, early, and we'll be bringing the same show, because we sold out. So we're going to bring the same show back.
I'll be there.
So we don't have to invent a new show now. It's awesome for us, not awesome for the people who saw the show.
I'll be there. I'll
make sure. Come along.
I think Asperger's is on the autism spectrum.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. It's they say it's kind of, it's just on there. Bullshit. I don't know. It's on there. Yeah. I mean, personally, I think everybody has a bit of it. I think everybody's on the spectrum, but Asperger's is a unfortunately, I have my closest friend in the world. His child is a non-speaking autism. He's 17, and he's said hello and maybe daddy or something all his entire life. So he's heavily on the autism spectrum. So I've been down at the beach with him, and I've looked down for a second. I've looked up, and he's on the corner of the beach pool, weeing into the pool. Oh my God, Lawson! I'm drawn down, going, but people can tell he's autistic because stuff like that happens. He's most of the time just twiddling a twig.
Yeah.
I actually feel for the people like yourself and my nephew, who is he's autistic. He goes to a special school, but you wouldn't know. Like if you talk to him, you can see that he's got headphones in all the time, and you just think he's a dickhead. You just think that kid's he's not paying attention. He's not saying hello when I say hello. What the hell? He's slightly on the autism. And I actually, in some ways, I feel more for the people that are slightly on the autism spectrum and with things like Asperger's than the ones where people can actually tell as soon as they see them.
Yeah.
It must be very, very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've found I wouldn't say I've found a way to control it, but I've found a way to push it in a way. So I feel like I don't have it, but I also.
So you're acting like you're acting like I've never called myself a comedian.
Yeah.
In my, in any way, I never say I'm a comedian because, well, A, I like low expectations, and B, I've never thought of myself as a comedian. I don't think I'm a particularly funny person, and especially if you ask my family, they will agree. For me, I am acting. I am acting the comedian. I mean, I travel the world. I've gone to 40 countries, and my job is to make people laugh in the Umbilical Brothers shows. But for me, I am acting a comedian. I am not a comedian.
Yeah.
And maybe what you're doing is acting normal. I hate saying normal. Acting acceptable. No, that's even worse. Acting. You're acting in a way. Yeah. It's a performance rather than and everybody does that. I always thought when I was at school, the coolest, who I thought was the coolest guy in the school, I can't remember his name now, but he used to all day, he used to just be up against with one leg up against the wall like that, and he used to just be up against the wall. He just didn't do much. That's about all he did. And I remember going, oh my God, that's the coolest guy in school. He doesn't talk much to anybody, and it was like a year or so later, and I thought, I think he's performing. It must be so hard to do that all day. Yeah. His leg must be cramping up, but God damn it, he's doing a very good job of acting cool. So everyone's doing their own little performance.
I feel like
all the world's a stage.
Yeah, at school, people act to be people act to be to fit in. I feel like that's one of the
100%.
Everybody.
Yeah. That's not everybody. Everyone is trying to fit in, but no one talks about it. That no one feels comfortable.
Yeah,
like not even the cool kids feel comfortable. The cool kids are doing a performance. The nerds are doing a performance. Everybody's performing, and everybody's feeling the same angst, the same uncomfortableness in themselves. I mean, they're kids, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I'm 50 and I'm still uncomfortable in large groups. I don't like being in large groups, and I 100% feel like I'm performing when I'm in there. I mean, it's a kind of a different thing for me because I feel like people are looking at me because they are, because I've got this freaking hair. I haven't cut my hair off, so people sort of recognize me from whatever. And even if they don't, I kind of think, I'm heightened to people, to kind of, that I would go, oh, that person just looked at me. do I know that? Is it Umbilical Brothers? Is it Upside Down Show? Is it the Vix ad? Is it Maisie? Is it a friend from school? But it's never, is it a stranger that's just glanced over in my direction? So it's sort of just layers on top of you, and you just kind of thump, and it's very hard to I think that's why I don't like large groups, because I kind of like being myself, but I'm only myself sort of in private company and friends, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm the same. I like act myself when I'm around family and stuff, but then when
I think everybody's like that.
Yeah,
like I think everybody's like that. Can you, like, who feels comfortable on a bus? Do you think anybody on a bus feels comfortable? We're all thinking the same things. Where's the crazy person? There's got to be at least, like, there's 40 people on this bus. There has to be, just by pure percentage, there has to be one crazy person. There has to be one somebody who's not having a good day. There's got to be one person who's having such a great day, he's going to want to lick my face.
Yeah. I feel like there's always that, like, I don't know, my school sucks, like, so the school I'm at now, literally everyone acts to, like, seem like the cool. There's no, like, there's always a competition between everyone.
But I think when you realize that everyone's acting, I think it makes it a little easier. It's still, I mean, I didn't, lunchtime and recess, and my daughter's was the same. She told me, I just said the other day, that she's exactly the same. She would just wander around like she was acting like she was searching for something. She was acting like she was looking for something. I went, oh my God, I used to do the same thing. I just wander around, and if I wasn't, that'd be sort of recess. And lunchtime, I just went down to the music rooms and just hung out there with just a couple of people, all by myself. But I was never sort of, in ball games or anything like that. And I love a ball game, but it was just too much effort. It was too much effort. And what you don't realize is that at the time, that the day after school finishes, it completely changes. You don't, you do not think ever about your ATAR, like, or whatever that mark is that the kids get these days. The minute after you finish school, you don't really think about school again, or the people at school. I've got a couple of, I'm friends with 2 people from school, and I see them maybe once every few months. Whereas my actually kids are quite different. They're very, very good friends that they see quite often from school. But I just cut all ties with school as soon as I left, and I was on to the next chapter of my life. And I think most people are the same.
I feel like that's the best way.
But you don't realize that when you're in it, you don't realize it.
Because I'm, like, about to finish school, and I don't really want to.
What are you in? What year are you in?
I have
cool.
5 weeks left. So
you're right. Well, if you you've probably loved all this COVID stuff, like not going. You've loved it.
We haven't had COVID over here. I'm in Perth, so.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we're free.
Bloody hell! So you've actually been going to school.
Yeah.
Well, you would have loved COVID. You should have brought it. You should have. You should have. Oh, damn it! I don't know if there's any way to actually ask for someone to post COVID to you.
Oh God. Some of the questions. Okay.
You could have memorized some questions,
or
at least been a little bit surreptitious in looking down at your questions. You could have gone, oh, what time now? Okay, have we got time? Have we got time to this? What time is it?
Yeah, that's.
So when you were on the Upside Down show.
Okay. Then. Have you ever had any?
You're doing really well, by the way, Luke. Doing really well.
Thank you. The way my is set is not good. I should have like a sheet thing here or something. But have you had it?
What are you? So what about on your screen? The screen that I'm. Yeah, Where am I? Where am
Well,
I?
I have another camera here, but I'm using this
Mhm.
one. So
Yeah,
you're on
and
that camera. The monitor's here.
oh, the monitor's there.
Yeah.
Maybe put the camera a bit closer to the monitor so you can sort of glance down at the.
True. Probably break it. So I'll leave it
It's
for
all right. You don't have to do it
I'll
now. I'm just giving you some advice for
Yeah.
your future.
Okay. Yeah. It's in my head now. We're good. Have you
Is
had?
it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, there we go. Have you had any struggles mentally, like during your career? Or...
No, I don't. I mean, I'm one of those people that doesn't realize when they're stressed,
Yeah.
but other people do.
Yeah.
So my love will go, David, you're stressed. And no, I'm not stressed. No. You just believe. And now I've learned to believe them when they go, okay, you're stressed. So I don't realize and I don't know whether that's a curse or a gift. Still, I don't know, because I think I'd prefer to know so that I can medicate myself.
Yeah.
And I don't mean with pills. I just mean by
Mentally.
telling myself to calm down and just act a different way. So I think I'd prefer to know when I am anxious or anything like that, or anything in that direction. But yeah, I have to rely on other people to tell me, which is sometimes not great.
Yeah. But...
Yeah. But apart from that, any mental, no, but I don't think I know. I really don't know. A friend of mine had a sibling commit suicide the other day, and then I started to think about all of the people that I know where somebody in their family has committed suicide, and it was an extraordinary amount. And my a relation of mine was in the institution a few weeks back for mental health, and then I went through all of my friends, and I don't think I know many people who haven't had people that have gone through the same thing. So I'm actually very lucky in, well, I'm pretty sure my sister we should have called the loony police on my sister at least a few times had we known that was a thing back in the day. I'm pretty sure. But when she was, I think I've been very lucky with. I mean, my daughter at the moment is going through some issues that she's just trying to deal with. She's a teenage girl, and that's that's the time. But myself, no, it's all been.
Yeah.
I've managed to fool myself into getting through things, and by fooling myself, being a complete idiot about it and not knowing that they're happening at the time.
Yeah,
which has probably been not a good thing for other people.
Yeah, but I feel like if it's your way of coping with it, that's like, I feel like that's the.
It's an instinctive way of coping with it. It's not something that I've taught myself. No, I definitely taught myself, but I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah,
I went on this camp. It was last week. So like it was like a 5-day mental health thing, and we talked about it was like making us like mental health ambassadors and stuff. So we learned about how to like suicide prevention, so we can talk to people about suicide and mental health.
Great. Angels.
Yeah. But yeah, I realized how much people actually well, not how much people, literally everyone has had something happen in their life. Literally everyone.
Every family, I honestly I couldn't give you a family where it hasn't where mental health hasn't affected somebody in the family.
I feel like raising not raising awareness for it, but like making it more known is also it helps though, because then
100%, especially around this time. I'm just yesterday I made an appointment with a psychiatrist to because I went and saw my daughter went and saw a doctor, and it was about her, and they're trying to work out what was going on, and that doctor wrote on the thing, well, father has ADD and blah 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 blah, and then I kind of saw that and I went, what? ADD? I've never done her. And then I went and saw a doctor myself about something else, and he gave me this mental health sort of whatever it is, this thing that they do, this mental health plan or something. He it was a questionnaire and everything, and he went through and he said, he's got he's very positive, blah blah blah. No, he's got ADD, blah blah. And it was the second doctor that said that I've got ADD. And then I spoke to that first doctor again, and she went, oh, sorry, I just assumed you'd already been diagnosed. Yes, I've always thought this is a family doctor that we've had for 20 years, 30 years now. Oh yeah, I just assumed that you were on medication, that you definitely got ADD. And so I've booked in for a psychiatrist for the first time in my life. February next year is the first appointment, because of everything that's being the world as it is at the moment. Apparently psychiatrists and psychologists have been hammered, and it is almost impossible to get into them. Like the first appointment was 8 months away. And then I just called different doctors until I got that down to February. So yeah, I think it's great that people become aware of mental illness, and especially at this time, because I think people are becoming aware of it themselves.
COVID,
because it's affecting more people.
COVID has affected because I feel like because you're just stuck at home and you can't really there's nothing you can do, and it's like it's like an insane asylum sort of type thing. Not really, but like it's
I wouldn't be telling your parent or your sisters that.
That's probably the worst way to put it, but it's like you're just stuck in this one area. So I feel like that would mental health is like raised a lot in the last 2 years.
And what would you do? What would you do normally? Like, what's instead of just staying at home? Because I would be out performing and making people laugh. So it's very different from me. What do you do when you go out?
Well,
when you're not at home, sorry.
I don't really go outside, but I have started to.
There's no different for you, Luke, for God's sake.
But
well, when I'm in Sydney, this is me. This is where I am. I write and everything here. I'm here most of the day when I'm in Sydney, when I'm not performing. So I've actually kind of enjoyed lockdown, but it's getting a bit much now. It's getting to a point where I'm.
How long have you been in lockdown?
Well, pretty much most of last year when we weren't performing, that was kind of a very, very difficult. And then this time it's been, so I was meant to be, 9th of September, I was going to do a solo show at the Sydney Comedy Fringe from about the 15th of September. And so we've been in lockdowns for, at least a month and a half now, I think. What are we, 9th of, I can't remember. Let's see, August, we're definitely in August, and maybe a little bit before that. I can't even tell you, which says a lot. But I was gearing up to do a show. I was creating things to do a show, and that went down the toilet. So I had that. So I think that's also kind of affecting my enthusiasm. I did have some good news though. I did a couple of good acting jobs, which I managed to film something in Adelaide at the beginning of the year when we were just after the Adelaide Fringe, but before all lockdown happened. We were in Melbourne, did that, and then did.
Is that the Stand show that you said? Yeah.
it's called The Tourist,
Yeah.
and did a bit in that. And actually, Shane was in it as well, because in the script that it was twins, and I think the casting agent went, "Oh, it'd be fun to get the Umbilical Brothers into audition," so we did that, and they liked it, and they got us in.
That's awesome.
And also at the end of last year, I did a George Miller. I did like 5 seconds in a George Miller film. And I just got news last week that I got a big film next year. Like I don't want to say anything until I sign a contract.
Yeah.
Never talk anything until you sign a contract, but it's really, really, really big. And that's hopeful, like fingers crossed, they think they're going to be filming next year, but who knows? With what's going on, it's one day at a time. But that would be a large, I'd like to see my mental health if that doesn't go ahead. That one.
Is it big? I don't know what I'm saying, but is it? Yeah,
it is. I've got more than 5 seconds in the film. I've got a few lines, but it is the biggest.
Yeah. Do you see that making a new Matrix? I don't know if that's like, but they're making a new Matrix.
I actually think they've made it. Have they not made it?
Oh, I think they finished it. Yeah, I saw it yesterday. I was like, what the hell? Because I haven't.
Yeah, why? And that's. I mean, they must have had a very, very good idea, because that second and third one.
Yeah.
That first one is almost. It's so good. We saw that in America when we were in '99. We were all of 1999 in New York off Broadway, and I remember after that finished, Shane just went. He was blown away by that. Shane is a black belt in kung fu, so Shane and I bonded over Jackie Chan films. So we love martial arts, and I'm not a martial arts person, but I pick physical things up quite quickly, which annoys James, I'm sure, because he spent years training to be this. He is a physical freaking freakish genius, but he's taught himself to be that. So Matrix was pretty incredible at the time. We'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
That opening scene.
Flashback.
Down upside! Sorry. The Upside Down Show!
Apparently they filmed that opening scene. They knew when they started filming that they weren't going to have the money that they needed to make the rest of the film. So they made that opening scene of Trinity, running around the wall. And they made that, sent it to Warner Brothers, and asked for more money, and Warner Brothers went, "Oh yes, there you go." Yeah, if that's what you got.
How did you and Shane meet?
We met in acting school. So we did there was an acting school in Sydney called Theatre Nepean, which is not there anymore because it's actually not going anymore. But David Wennemann's from Theatre Nepean. Joel Edgerton is from Theatre Nepean. He's our big Hollywood star. And it was a 3-year full-time course, and it was in Kensington, which is the west of Sydney, and so it was detached. So like NIDA here is just up the road from me, but it's in the middle of the hustle. It's a very interesting sort of part of town, but we were sort of cut off from the rest of civilization, pretty much being in Kensington. So, and it was a very good thing because we could focus entirely on what we were doing, and we certainly was a lot to do with acting, but it was also movement and singing and everything to do with theatre and performing. And that's how, and it was during one of the movement classes that Shane and I came up with our first movement and sound effects routine, because it was a mime assessment, and we thought it was pretty funny, and so we did it in front of this class. And we had a friend who was a stand-up comedian, and so we went and did it at a stand-up club, our 1 5-minute routine, and it killed, and it was something completely different. And then we went to the Edinburgh Festival, and we were something completely different. Edinburgh Festival was just filled with stand-ups. It was just it's just a whole lot of stand-ups or sketch shows, and we were something so different that we finished the Edinburgh Festival in 94, and by the end of the festival, the next 8 months of our lives were booked up. We had bookings around the world. We were booked up just from going to that festival. So
did it just randomly happen? Like you just started getting shows
Yeah.
nonstop?
Yeah. So we've always said that we're just making it up as we go along, and that's exactly. We've never had a plan.
Yeah.
There's never been a plan. Well, I think it's good. I think it's good that people know that we're just making it up as we go along. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, we've been going for 30 years now, over 30. It was 30 in February, and we have never thought longer than, a month ahead. You know what I mean? We're going, oh, maybe we should do this, or maybe we should do that. And also, we've never sort of worked unless we've had a deadline. Our manager knows that. Yeah, and it was actually the very first Umbilical show was Two Coats and a Hat Stand from Hell, and it was performed at the Parramatta Riverside Theatres, and it was pretty much I just booked a theatre. I had friends, Neil and Doug, and they were wannabe theatre producers, and they said, oh well, they'll produce the show, and I went, yep, just book the theatre. And so we booked a 100-seat theatre, and we didn't have a show. We had 5 minutes worth of material, but we had a deadline. And from that day to today, we have never worked unless we've had a deadline. And we had to invent a show. So it was a 2-act show. It was the only 2-act show we've ever created. All of them have been 1 act from then on. Well, 1 act that's gone for like 90 minutes. Starts as like a 55, 60-minute show, and then it gets to 90 minutes very, very quickly.
What made you guys think of the Upside Down show? Or did that just...
The Upside Down show came from, we had a lot of people asking us to do kids show for some reason. I guess because the movements, something different, movement and sound effects. Yeah. But Sesame, they came and saw us in New York when we were there for a year. And that was really interesting, actually, because we have this one bit in our show where we I accidentally decapitate Kermit the Frog with a chainsaw. And it's a good gag. It worked pretty well. But this one night, this section of the audience just were piercing themselves. It just like I remember just thinking, oh my God, that section over there, they're massive murdering Kermit the Frog fans like that. They met them after the show, and they were the bloody Sesame people. They were the Sesame Street people. They liked laughing. So the Americans this is generalization, but Americans take themselves way too seriously, and that was one of the problems with we had to sort of mold the show to fit the American crowd, because what we normally do is put shit on ourselves. That's one of the Australians' charms. In our show, we were making fun of what we do, and we were making fun of ourselves, and Americans don't do either of those things. Go team, that's go, come on, no, USA, don't make fun of yourself. What are you doing that for? So we had to kind of, we kept a lot of that in. That was charm. But Sesame for us was a bit different because so they came, and then they came again and saw Speed Mouse. They saw a show of ours called Speed Mouse in San Fran. Where did they see that? Anyway, they saw it somewhere, and they asked us to do. They said they wanted to do a show, and we said we don't really want to do a kids show, and they said neither do we. And we went, no, we said we don't want to make a show for kids, and they said neither do we. And we went, oh, well, we can just make a show. And they went, yeah. And I had kids at the time, and honestly, the kids fair at was lacking in a lot of things. So when my kids were younger, Teletubbies was enormous, and I used to go absolutely insane. If my kids were not allowed to watch Teletubbies because it drew. When you have a kid, when you have a young kid anyway, you do not leave them alone. You're always around, just making sure they haven't grabbed onto anything, they haven't done anything, because they're like a bull in a china shop. They'll magically just appear somewhere, or something will be done. So you're constantly there. So you don't want a television show. If you'll put them in front of your second babysitter, which is the screen, if you put them in front of the television because you want to wash up or do something, you want that thing to be to not send you crazy as an adult.
Yeah.
You don't like, and Teletubbies was that was just
It's a weird
insane.
show.
And so Sesame went, no, we agree. We want you to make a show that adults can be entertained as much as the kids. And so we went, okay, all right, we'll take the meeting. And we took the meeting, and they pretty much said we could do whatever we want, and they would be behind us. And in the end, we couldn't do everything we wanted because Nickelodeon, it was Nickelodeon's money, and Nickelodeon was concerned about things like, kids. Well, they were concerned about being sued, basically. So we couldn't do anything that would endanger the lives of a child. So like we had the couch in the show was reinforced because we wanted to be jumping on the couch. That was all edited out. We couldn't do any of that. We actually filmed us doing that in the first episode, and we couldn't do that because of the Nickelodeon producers who were in the room while we were filming were concerned about litigious parents. A woman in Iowa going, my son twisted his ankle from jumping off a couch because he saw it on the Upside Down show, so you're gonna give me $4 million. Actually, that's Florida, that's not Iowa, but you know what I mean. That's so we weren't allowed to do that. The hypocrisy there is that in cartoons, stuff like that happens all the time. Crazier stuff like that happens in cartoons, but cartoons can get away with it, but human cells cannot. Sesame said that we would get away with a lot, and we were involved with every aspect of we were involved with the creation of the episodes. There were writers in America, and they would write like a 12-page kind of script that was never funny. It was just like a pretty much a layout of 12 pages where we would go. Shane and I would improvise. We would put a camera on and we would improvise, and we would send that tape back to America, and then the script would be written from what we did. And to this day, I've always been very, very, I haven't been happy about not getting a writing credit on that show, because it was anything that was funny in the show is us, and anything that was weird, like really weird, was pretty much us. The writers were fantastic, they were amazing, but it's I mean, maybe hopefully people can kind of tell that it's there's a lot of us in there.
Like people don't realize how much, like, I'm not saying I've worked on anything, but like I've talked to heaps of people like you and like other, but there's lots of stuff that goes into it before like it even happens, and like heaps of people don't get credit for it, I've learned.
Oh my God, it's I mean, for a movie, it's years. Last time I saw Joel Edgerton, I said, The Gift was a great movie. 5 years it took from beginning to, in the theaters. It was 5 years, and I can't tell you how long the Upside Down show took to make, but it was at least a year, and it was months coming up to, and then you got like 12 weeks of filming. And I mean, they were long days. They were pretty much 14-hour days. Shane and I were doing, because we would come in, it was very early onto set, 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes earlier into set. We would do everything, and then after at the end of filming, not every day, but a lot of the days, you would have an editing session or a sound. There'd be something else to do, to do with the show, and we were involved with nearly every aspect, and some, I'm sure, Michael Bush wished we weren't, but no, God damn it, that guy must have done a lot. Yeah, long. I just remember really, really long days, and I just remember just having to be on, just in the zone every single day, and yeah, forcing myself to be on. But and I think I pretty much was. But I do remember falling asleep on that couch a lot in the lounge room while they were setting things up.
Do you ever think you would bring it back, like the show, or like do something
No.
like that?
Yeah, we've been trying to get this. This movie was written, and we were trying to get that up for years, but that sort of went away. I even had a bloody dinner with Hugh Jackman, who was a fan to him to do to be a guest role in it, but he'd done too many guest roles at the time. Shane had a good idea the other day, which was. We because I said no, we're too old now to go back and do the show.
And never too
we're
old.
Too old. And I was suggesting doing motion capture, doing us and doing like a kind of almost an animated version of it, but it's us. It is actually us doing it, but in a suit. And then Shane suggested, well, now how about we just do the show and it's us as we are, as old as we are now, but we've remained in that house this entire time. I think, oh, that's a really good idea, Shane. Well done. Yeah. So who knows? I mean, I'm really racking up the fans on TikTok. It's doing exactly what I wanted it to do, to my kids' chagrin. They hate that I'm on TikTok, but it's to find the Upside Down Show fans who have no idea who the Umbilical Brothers are. So I'm just but it's going so well that I think I might get all these fans. And so all these Upside Down Show fans are together. I'm almost up to 200. I'm about 170,000. Yeah, 170,000 followers at the moment. I get that up and then because that's currency now. Followers like that is you can use that for negotiation. So I could actually, once I've got them up to maybe, I'm hoping 500,000 followers, I could then maybe take that to somebody and go, hey, do you want to revisit the room with the doors? Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we got one viewer right there, and Luke's going to watch.
Do you have like a highlight of your career throughout or is it all of it?
Oh, it's all pretty good. It's
Yeah.
all pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I guess yeah.
It's just all of it's pretty.
I think I like going to countries. We've done 40 countries, and I think I quite like when we do our first performance in the new country. Like we had never been to Lithuania. Funnily enough, we mentioned Lithuania a lot because I'm cutting up Upside Down Show for TikTok at the moment. We mentioned Lithuania at least twice. I think it might be 3 times. And in the Umbilical Brothers, in our comedy, we've mentioned Lithuania. For some reason, we mentioned Lithuania. We'd never been to Lithuania in our lives, never. And we went to Lithuania and we did 2 nights of 900 people at each night. And 100 of those people each night were standing. It was 800 people in these massive bleachers and then 50 people on either side on the stairs. And we'd never been there before. And so for me, the first night of being in a new country and just seeing them see us and I know that they're seeing us for the first time.
Yeah.
Because when I travel to countries now that we've been to before, chances are there's going to be some people that have seen us live before. But when I go to a country that we've never been to before, I know that 100% of those people have never seen us before. Yeah. And that to me is really, really special when I go, all of these are in exactly the same position. And that's really special for me. So there's been 40 really special times.
That's a lot of countries.
It is a lot of countries. Yeah. We're very lucky because we can. Only a few of them we haven't. France, Spain, China. And Korea. Yeah, Korea a bit. They're about the only places that we don't speak English in. And we just get movement. We get the movement and sound effects from a whole lot of shows, and we put it together and make the one show. And in doing that, we realized how much we speak. We never shut up. People think that when we do Umbilical Brothers, we're just movement and sound effects. We're talking all the time. From the very first show, we talk all the time. And it was very, very difficult when we first went to China, I think was the first one, and we were trying to get stuff that we didn't talk. Even in just single routines, we were trying to get routines where we don't speak, and there was just so many gags where it was a talkie gag.
Did you have to speak a different language? Like, did you have to speak?
Yeah, Shane learns it. Yeah, Shane learns a little bit of the language. So we're just about to go back to, we were meant to be in France. So the reason last July we were meant to be in France. This July we're meant to be in France. It'll be now we're thinking it's going to be March or something. We'll be in France, and we have to. And when we were last there, they didn't want not one word of English. They don't want any English, and so Shane learns. To learn how to say, learns a few phrases in the language to speak. And then I just mouth that, so I don't have to learn it. I just go, mama. It's very easy for me, the poor bastard. But Shane's very good at accents and languages. He's very good at the English language. I'm hideous at the English language. But he's a perfectionist too. Like people hear him speak Japanese, and I've seen people just go, like Japanese people go, whoa, what? And he lived in Japan for a year, but he's the way he speaks the language wherever we go. I can tell. I look at people and people are so impressed, and I can even hear myself. I go, oh my God, is he French? I think he might be a bit. I think he might have some French in him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to learn. I tried to learn Spanish. It hurts my head. I don't know. It's hard to memorize it all. So
I think it's a good one. For Spanish is, a third of the bloody population that speaks Spanish, so it's a good one to learn.
Yeah,
but we didn't have Spain. We could speak a little bit of English in Spain. It wasn't as bad as France, no English. China, no English. Korea, little tiny bit of English. Spain, a little bit of English, but we could tell that not everybody. There was a lot of people in the audience that didn't understand what we were saying.
I feel like I don't want to waste a lot of your time. So
no, you're not wasting my time. I don't know much to do. This is good. This is putting me away from doing actual work.
I was supposed to be at school today.
You're supposed to be at school?
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. I've dedicated my time to this part of what I do. So
you're not going to talk about fear?
Yeah,
Isn't fear in your title?
Yeah, you're basically already answered.
Wouldn't you be asking me about do I get is there any fear when I go on stage?
Yeah, you sort of already answered it, but I can ask it.
What's the question?
Has there been a time?
And you can just edit it in.
Yeah,
do a hard edit.
Has there been a time when you have gotten a fear or anxiety? Well, yeah, because and use it as your strength in a way.
I think when creating, as I said, we only work when we have a dedeadline, and that's fear. Like a deadline is, oh my God, that's coming. That's a fear, and I actually think fear is a great creative tool. Personally, Shane, to this day, gets a little stage fright. He has a bit of fear before he goes on, and he's brilliant. So I think it probably helps him, I would say. But I think if you can manifest that fear into excitement, into whatever you want, if you can mold that fear, if you can understand that fear is something that can be controlled and used as a weapon, then the world is your oyster. It's fantastic. I think I am at my most creative when I'm in my most uncomfortable or set upon by the circumstances. So if I'm, if I'm like this, this isn't particularly comfortable for me, this situation talking, I don't particularly like talking. I'm not a particularly deep thinker. In fact, I pride myself on not being. I like living in the moment. And I like not to be that deep. When I'm forced to talk about things, I like where my brain goes, and I like the ideas I have when I'm forced to. It's I think fear part of you that can be a friend.
Yeah, that's basically what my whole like thing's about. But also like there's never a time when you're always scared to do something, like you get the anxiety, but then once it's done, like you won't regret it, because it's like that after you've done it, that you get like adrenaline. It's a rush. You get like so happy.
The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Yeah, no, it's like I've been writing a lot during this lockdown, a lot, and I hate writing. I cannot stand writing, and I don't understand writers that like writing, but after during it, it's just hell. When you're writing, it's hell to look at a blank piece of paper. It's hell writing it. The first draft of something is always hideous. It's always terrible. Second draft, very average. Third draft, not bad. But then when it's finished, you feel so good.
Yeah.
So now when I'm writing, even though I do have that fear of, I know that when you know that the first draft is going to be shit, fine. It's so much easier when you know, when you actually say to yourself, it's fine. You give yourself permission to be shit.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to be terrible at something, and doing something is better than not doing something.
Yeah.
It's like making a decision. I prefer to make a decision and let it be the wrong decision than not make a decision at all.
Yeah.
And in the past, Shane may have changed his opinion on this, but in the past, I've asked Shane about this, and he would prefer not to make the decision for fear of it being the wrong decision.
But yeah,
stuff that. You give yourself permission to be wrong, be terrible, be appalling, be hideous. And if you don't know, there's this great Nick Cave. It's I can't remember what the movie's called, 2000 Years on Earth or something. But he has this thing that, and I listen to it about once a week, and I should know it off by heart, but I don't. But it's all of our days are numbered. We cannot afford to be idle. To act on a bad idea is better than to not act, because the worth of the idea never becomes apparent until you do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that idea can be a tiny little thing, a little flame that you hunch over and cup with your hands and pray won't be extinguished by all the winds that howl about it. But if you can protect that flame, great things can be constructed around it that are massive and world-changing.
Yeah.
All held up with the tiniest of flames.
Damn,
I love that. And I listen to that
good.
pretty much once a week, and it helps me just know, all of our days are numbered. Act on every idea. Nothing may happen, but it's better than to not act.
Yeah. I think that's my mindset as well, because like I always go for like the biggest things, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. So like even talking to you, talking to anyone, I contact them not knowing if they're going to reply or not, and if they do, it's you never know.
The best advice I ever got from my mother-in-law when she was around was, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the reason why I think I've got a gig in this big movie next year, is because I acted like an American, which is just, I hammered it. I hammered the person. I kept mentioning it. I kept mentioning it. Every chance I got, I was probably annoying. In fact, I know I was annoying, because at one stage, one of the co-writers went, "Oh, David, please," when I was, you know, and but I kept, and I think I gave myself an American mindset, you know, go team, come on, you know, I badgered I went at it. If you don't ask, you don't get. What's the worst could happen? The worst could happen is, oh, I don't get asked to do the movie. I don't get asked to audition. I don't get asked to. That's okay, great. I'm back. I'm where I was anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you may as well force yourself into forcing yourself.
Yeah. But now that I think about it, basically everything I've done is, if I don't do it, I'm gonna regret it straight after.
Yeah, true. How much would you regret not doing it? That's what you've got to ask yourself. Yeah. How much would you regret if you in 2 years' time, when you look back, what would you have said to yourself? Oh, I wish I'd tried. I wish I'd given it.
At least if you try, you've had, like, you need to try before you. It's basically, don't judge a book by its cover.
Try before you die.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that an expression? It should be. Try
It
before
should
you
be.
die.
Yeah. Get on my shirt. I'll steal it.
Yes, please. Yeah, it's all yours, mate. It's all yours. Ideas are free.
Yeah, I have.
My computer's just about to run out, so you got to be quick now.
Yeah, I'll be quick. So there's this charity event that I've organized, and it's been we've been organizing it for 3 months. I had I had no clue that it was just an idea, and I pitched it to someone, and if I didn't pitch it to someone, it wouldn't have been to where it is now, and it's happening in a month, which is scary.
All right.
But yeah, it's gonna be way bigger than I ever thought, and if I didn't ask and do what I've done for the last few months, it wouldn't be where it was. So I'm happy that
it's like you talking to me right now.
Yeah, literally. Well, yeah, I want to say thank you, because you're like
a pleasure, Luke. Thanks very much. That was great fun.
Well, I'll definitely see you when you come to Perth.
We're coming. I don't know.
You know? No.
When, I don't know. I mean, maybe. Who knows? Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put money on it. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of plans that have been cancelled. Like even now, we had things early on. Oh, geez, I hope it wasn't the one that was cancelled. It may have been the one that was cancelled. Anyway, we'll be back at some stage. You'll see us at some stage. But it's great. It's a really, really great show. It really is something. It's a lightning in a bottle. It's something completely different. Yeah, kind of like the Upside Down show.
Yeah. All of your stuff is very unique, which I think I like. That's why I like it.
We try, and I mean we do try that with each of our 7 shows. That's what we try and do. But I mean that's mainly it's to keep the audiences interested in seeing us in a different way, but it's to keep us interested as well. More than anything, is to keep us interested in what we're doing. If we're doing different things, if we were doing the same thing every night for 30 years, that would tend to insane. Quite insane.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Pleasure, Luke. Pleasure, Luke.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah.
Break a leg. See you,
See
mate.
ya.
Bye.
See ya.